Hello, welcome to Unity 151. Today we have another author interview. You know, I've changed it from author interview now. I've changed it to talking to the author of talking to the interview of Many Tales. There we go. Jacub, that's the man. He is actually someone who found my channel and actually watches some of my stuff, and he's an author himself, obviously, author interview thing. And he's reached out and would like to come and chat. So that's what we've done. Here he is, Jacub. Tell the world about yourself, who you are, and about your story, and then I'll quiz you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jake. Author name, Jacub John White. I write a free serial called A Many Tale, which is a little bit unconventional. It's a little bit of a story of a mouse turned mouseling, sort of like a hobbit-sized anthropomorphic character. And he's sent cursed to kind of blip in and out of different universes and goes all over the place through all different genres. Each week it's a new serial. It's completely free at amanytale.com. And I reached out to Joe because I know that he does some unconventional storytelling. And I thought it'd be interesting to have a chat about it because it's fun knowing that with the internet, people can do all kinds of weird little projects like that.
That's it. Question, before we even get into about your thing. How did you come up with the idea of the mouse and this whole story? How did that idea come about?
So it's kind of weird because it was a combination of a bunch of things. The mouse thing came from I'd always wanted to tell a Redwall or a Mouse Guard or like a Watership Down style story. I love it. I love like that pastoral landscape. You're following small creatures with this massive existential idea. And then the whole idea of the blipping through universes and genre hopping came because I played this character in a solo RPG because during COVID, I realized that I was kind of getting rusty in my writing because I wasn't playing Dungeons and Dragons. And I was like, I just need some improv, just a little bit of something to keep me going. So I started playing a mouseling because I've always wanted to tell that kind of story. Sat down at the table, played with this mouse, and then all of a sudden I realized that I was getting really bored because I played the same, tiny mouse in a big land story. And I thought, oh, well, it'd be a blast to kind of jump through genres and be able to get that itch out of my system. Like if I watch a Clint Eastwood movie, I can go and play a Western. But I wanted to keep my same character because I'd played him for so long and I loved writing him. I thought, wow, wait, what if he just got cursed to blip through all kinds of universes and then this little creature became this huge cosmic, cursed to become a cosmic hero, really? That's where the whole thing came from. It's like a more amplified version of that existential story, just taken up like Frodo's a small hero going to throw the ring out, taken up to like 11, as they say.
No, that's cool. Okay, yeah. What is his name? Do you want to start telling us about your story? Because truth is, I've checked the website and stuff, but I have no idea. So I am going to ask you as someone who has no idea.
Absolutely.
What is your mouse's name? I will. I'll try and show you the website as well. You tell mouse name. Yeah. I'm going to try and get the thing going.
Yeah. So our main character's name is Opaline, like the shimmer of the stone opal. Opaline. Yeah, and he has a cast of characters that he kind of blips in and out of worlds with as well.
Oh, there we go.
There it is. Yeah. So nice. All those covers right there is because we go through different genres and things. I thought, well, it'd be really interesting if I'm an artist myself, but I have a lot of friendly artists, and I know a lot of people that you could hire to make art. I thought, well, it'd be a blast if each story had its own cover, reminiscent of the genre and the flavor of the crazy, wild idea of going from concept to concept, story to story, world to world. That way, each story has a new cover with a new taste that kind of gives you a hint of what you're about to see.
Okay, so how did this start? Because first thing, this is all free on your website. So if anyone is into this, please go and read.
Yeah,
support as well if that's your thing. So tell us about the first episode, book episode, however you've got episode on there, so I'm gonna call it episode. Give us a rundown of what it's about, what happens, and stuff.
Absolutely. So we start in the middle, as all great stories do. Opaline essentially was, as he blips through world and world, he doesn't have any semblance of time. He can't really tell when he's going to leave, and that's where the tension comes from. That's where the problem comes from, because he's unable to settle. So he could be on a planet for 3 hours, 3 minutes,
It's random.
3 years, exactly.
Right.
It's completely random. He has no control over it. So he starts to lose himself, because if you imagine never being able to make friends because you never know when you're going to leave, or in the case of being an adventurer or a hero, you want to help people, but you never know how long you have to be able to help them. You could really hurt people's lives by kind of stepping up to the plate and then blipping out and bailing out. And we jump in after he has spent 55 years on one planet, and he blips and leaves behind the entire life that he built. And essentially he's talking with Peridot, and Peridot is a small god dragon who is cursed with Opaline. She's actually the reason he's cursed, but now they're very close friends. And they basically have a conversation where he says, I don't know if I can do this anymore. I don't know how to do this, but he's also immortal and can't die. Part of the curse is that there's no way out of it. And essentially in the first story, she plucks a piece of her divinity away, like a spine off her dragon god back, and turns it into a top so that he can spin it, and however long it takes to fall will tell him how much time that he has left on each planet.
Oh, fair enough, I suppose.
Yeah.
So is it all not matter? Obviously, you got other animals. So like, is it all lots of little critters? Like what other who else is there? What other characters? What we got?
Yeah. So because Opaline started as a mouseling, we'll eventually get to the arc where we go through his homeworld and see all the different rodents and forest creatures. Right. But for now, he goes through everything. So it's mostly humans and other races from all over the cosmos. And it could be elves, dwarves, et cetera, et cetera. As far as characters that are recurring, because he blips from planet to planet, there's not a huge recurring cast. It's mostly people that he meets. And we explore all kinds of weird situations because, when you're only spending one episode on a world, you can tackle all kinds of interesting things. There are loads of weird aliens or strange fantasy creatures or magic that he's meeting. The recurring cast are actually just like him. So as I mentioned, Peridot before, the little dragon, anybody that comes in contact with her is also cursed to blip through worlds. And these beings are known as the agglomerates. Essentially, they lose their mind over thousands of years and begin collecting things. So each one of them collects different things, and they all blip in and out of time. Some of them are good, like Opaline, they're friendly, and some of them are quite mad, like mad gods.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Not nice at all.
Did you come across humans? Or is it completely... You do?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. How big is he? I
should have brought it. So he's hobbit size, about a meter tall, give or take.
Right, okay.
And he, as I said, he began life as like a literal mouse, and then at some point turns into a mouseling. So he lived on a planet where he was a mouse in a mouse kingdom in a world where humans existed. Yeah. Now he's humans, or I guess human scale.
Yeah.
And I actually built a life-size mascot. And
did you?
Yeah, I went to conventions with him in a backpack.
That's cool. Well, you got advertising, didn't you?
Yeah, it was fun. It worked way better than I thought, to be honest with you.
So you've got 3 on here. What? So what's the second one about then? We spoke about the first one. What's the second one about then? Because there's a cat on there, I can see.
Yes. So.
Yeah, with a tail. Is that a tail? Or was that a scarf? That's a scarf.
I actually think that's Opaline. That's the artist's interpretation of them. Because each person draws him a little differently,
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah. So the second story actually introduces Opaline's best friend, in quotes, because he's sort of a frenemy, Porbio. And Porbio is another agglomerate, and he is a biological zoologist, essentially, who studies animals and has a big fat sketchbook where he draws animals and then basically keeps their 2-dimensional shapes where he can summon them into real life as animals. But he despises sentient life, hates people, and is ruthless. So the second episode, he unleashes a really deadly predator in a menagerie in a zoo, and Opaline has to calm it down while Poor Bo is like, yeah, get all the patrons, kill all the civilians.
Murder, death. And he's like, nah, calm, relax. You
Yeah.
know, what's that? What does Scarlet Witch say to Hulk? What is it? Like, calm down. What, you know, she tries to calm him down.
Yeah.
I can't always say that's it. Basically, just trying to chill, relax, man, relax. He's like, death, murder.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what's the okay, so like this guy's got creature, got his issues, and it's cool. So what else? How big are these? I jump around, questions all over the place, just keep up with me. How big are these? What's your word count and stuff?
So they kind of vary. I'd say anywhere from 2,000 to around 5,000, maybe 2,000 to 4,000 is the average. Some of them are a little bit longer, like our episode 11, which was our Halloween kickoff, was around 6,000 words. Our latest episode was around 7. And then I believe episode 3 is the longest of the trio, and it's around 45. But most of them are around that 3,000 to 2,000, 4,000 word count.
Okay. Oh, well, you need to update your website. Yeah, it says you got episode 1 to 3 below, or can you see the other ones?
If you go in the menu, if you go under World Walker Arc 1, you'll be able to see the first 15.
Oh, I see. Oh,
yeah,
there we go.
They just have like a cute little square thumbnail.
I've clicked it. Oh, there we go. Oh, you got loads here. Look at that.
Yeah, we've been around since we're pretty new. I mean, since mid-August, so it's relatively fresh.
Is it just you doing all this? Yeah.
So I'm the only writer, and then I handle all the business stuff. But I've contacted a bunch of guest artists, which are mostly, as of right now, my friends from high school. Had a ton of people just come in and begged for favors, and people came in, and I did a ton of the illustrations myself too, just because I enjoy that a lot, and it's good practice. But as of right now, it's the illustration side of the mix, which is pretty cool.
I'm just getting there we go.
Yeah, there they are. So we have as of now.
What did you do yourself? What ones did you do?
So I believe 4, 5, 6, 7, and then
4,
episode
5, 6, 7.
8, Duel at Sun Out.
Oh no, this was 4, 5, 6, 7. 4, 5, 6. Oh, yeah. I was going to count like left, like I was going 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm like, no, that's episode 9 on this. Me,
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I see. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I think the last 2 are also mine. My favorite is episode 11, though. It's my favorite one that I've done so far.
11. Ah, this one here.
Yeah.
Master of Keys.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got a key going ahead. It's just a bit like that Lock, that new fantasy that come out on what it's called now? Netflix. Lock Key. Keys going in their bodies. Yeah, I really like that.
That's some of the idea. That's actually a really good show.
I binged it. Like I actually just saw it, and then I started. I finished it, and then it popped up saying like season 2 coming in like 2 days. I was like, perfect timing. I started this right at the right time. Yeah, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
I just watched the first episode of season 2 this morning.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It's I was actually a bit, I know we're diverting, but I was a bit at first like, oh, it felt like it wasn't going to be as not dark, but like as well. The main, the bad person, the antagonist, whatever. How far into it are you actually? I don't want to say that without ruining it.
I finished the first season, so is it? I think her name's Echo. Is that what it
is? Yeah. Well, no, it's dodgy. So my
yes.
My things keeps blurring. I have to move back to then focus. You know that she's the kid, don't you? Yeah. So like, it's not very much of a spoil because obviously she's in the kid, but like she don't turn up like that as much. She's more just in the kid, and it kind of because it's the kid, it kind of felt like that they were kind of like bringing the age down a bit, but I don't. No. They don't. Trust me. There's a bit of violence going on. It's good. It ends nice. It's good. I like the ending. Hopefully, fingers crossed, they do a season 3. It's got, great.
I like it. It's a lot of fun. It's a really, really cool concept. That's part of where that character in episode 11, her name is Threshold, and I've always had this idea of a character that could speak to walls, could speak to rooms. And then when I came up with the Amenitale idea, I was like, oh, well, she'd be a great agglomerate because she can collect rooms. And then when I saw Lock and Key, I was like, oh, that'd be amazing. A character who has thousands of keys, and then all along her body, she has tattoos of the keyholes where she could unlock rooms that she keeps in pocket dimensions.
Cool. I like that. It's very different to like how normal magic works, doesn't it? It's very. I mean, there's probably loads of stuff like that, but I haven't found so much stuff like that. Ugh, I was going to talk probably then. Like when you're saying about talking to walls, should you talk to my kids? Yeah, then you feel like you've got the ability to talk to walls. Okay, now as I was talking about audiobooks, are you going to get yours narrated? If obviously it's funding, as always with everything, but is that something you're looking at doing at some point, or are you just going to stick to put them on your website?
So I've thought about it a lot. I almost did it in the beginning. It's just more of a time thing than anything else.
Yeah.
And then just because I'm also working on novels, right? Like a Many Tales sort of a supplement to my novels, which I'm querying at the moment and looking for representation. So I didn't want to take up too much time in the day or in the weeks to make sure that I'm recording each of these episodes. And I didn't want to just put out the first few at first and then not have any more. So I contacted some friends and almost went through with it, but I like to keep things in a way that I can control it to a certain point. And I don't want anybody ducking out last minute. So maybe in the future, at least, I might do the major sort of important episodes, like episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then maybe have just the beginning. That way you can at least get the first few and listen to those.
It's hard. Have you ever done narrating before?
I played with it, but
yeah,
it's hard.
Yeah, I can't do other voices anyway.
Yeah,
but it's reading long sentences and doing it without taking a breath. Because when you like read a book or if you talk out loud, you just breathe in as you go, you know. But when you're doing that, you've got to make your sentence sound clear without having a in it, you know. And I mean, my mic's just like a thing like this, but you need to obviously have the thing in front, because I sort of do that sometimes when you like when you breathe and you sort of. Yeah. Or like when you say a word, you make like a little. It sounds disgusting, like a water click noise in your mouth sometimes. Yeah. So like when I tried it myself, as I'm listening to it, like I'm editing, I can hear la 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 la, like right in the middle of a sentence. It's like, how the fucking hell do I edit that out with cutting out my words? Or it's like, so like zoom, like I just programming you have to like really zoom in on my iPad, and then I can like slice out little sounds. It's so hard because you're moving your little finger across and you got to like cut and then slide across and cut again, and you delete that bit, put it back together, zoom back out, listen to it, and then you're like la la la, you cut a bit out, you're like, no, zoom back in, reverse it so it goes back. Oh mate, so I was like, no, you know what, I'm gonna pay someone to do it. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pay someone who knows what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like if I know what I'm doing, I can do it. I'll have a good go. If I can't do it, I will pay someone who knows what they can do.
Yeah, that's why I completely avoided it, because I just thought I do not have the patience. On top of editing all this work, I do not have the patience to deal with that. Yeah, it's incredibly time consuming, and I'm not proficient in it. So I would totally hire somebody. It's just that, at least in the beginning, it didn't make a lot of sense. And I think now it probably makes a little bit more sense.
The thing is, audio is pretty much the biggest market, or what I believe, like from what I understand, because I know ebooks and all that stuff a while ago, like 2011, and for a while was like everyone went, but now like everyone and their mum listens to audiobooks. You can work and go. Like I've pretty much stopped reading paperbacks. I love reading paperbacks. I love the feel. I like sitting there reading at the characters' heads in my, the voices in my head and whatever it is, but I don't have time. And it's like I've got so many projects going on. It's like I haven't got time. I want to listen to stories, but I can do pretty much everything around the house while listening to something.
Exactly.
And, and it's just I sent my narrator just messaged me. Sorry. So hurry up now. I think he actually did say that he's got that next video might be done today, but I said no rush, mate, take your time.
Very cool.
Like, I thought he was going to come Sunday, so like he said, I'm trying to get it done today. Like I'm running behind. I'm like, what? I thought it was coming Sunday. Relax, man. Just take your time. Like I can't remember what I was talking about before. Oh yeah, narrating, listening to audios. It's just you can do like I go out, hang the washing, look after the kids, feed, do what I'm doing, watch a bit of TV, still listen to my stories in my head. And it frees up time for when I want to write or do like the other jobs I have to do. Then
exactly, it's tough to find time to read. To build that in.
That's it. And then I used to do it like the end of the night, and now it's like it's the end of the night. It's like, I'm so tired. I just don't want to read. I need to go to sleep because I've got to get up early. Yeah. Right. All right. Back to you, not me, because this isn't about me. When's your next one coming out?
So we took this week off because we put an episode out early for Halloween on Sunday.
Yes, you said
And
Halloween.
then,
Yep.
well, I guess not Sunday because it was late because we had technical difficulties, but Monday.
Oh,
So-
one of them excuses, yeah. Technical
difficulties.
Oh.
Couldn't get it done. But now I'm happy with it. It wasn't working, and then I was like, oh, if I just take a couple hours, it'll get finished, and then it worked great. It's fine. The next one comes out next Thursday, and then that arc is going to be a lot of fun because we're taking a little break from the super Halloween-y fantasy stuff and going full on like speed racer pilots and racing and neon city grunge stuff, cyberpunk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the Halloween special one. Who does your editing? Question.
So my friend does, Joshua
Yeah.
Hetzer. He runs through and he'll do all the edits real quick, and then I do a lot of it myself as well.
The thing is, this is what you got to do at first. Until you've got a bit of money backing you, it's very expensive doing this. And if you want to do it as an actual job to make money, and if you're indie or self-employed, it costs a lot of money. Like it can cost a couple thousand. If you're paying for if you pay for art and get proper professional editing's doing. Like I know an editing website that a guy called J.R. Handley, who's a military sci-fi writer guy, he showed me an editing website called it's called like Red Dot, or I can't remember what it's called. They're very cheap. They're like a couple cent a word, or like 1 cent a word, or
that's not bad at all.
Something like that. It's really, 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 really cheap. But even for like 100,000, obviously you is different, like you're smaller, but 100,000 to 150,000, it's still like $1,000.
Yeah.
And it's a really good price, hell of a price. But it's still like $1,000. You write your story, you then got to write your story somehow anyway, because you're not getting paid for it anyway. Mm-hmm. Then you then got to edit it 1,000. If you want a good cover, it's 500 quid for like a professional. You don't have to. Yeah. You can go lower, but in the end, covers sell. When you see something on Amazon, like you're not on Amazon, you're on your website, but like people look at a
good thumbnail.
You do.
Really
it's like
eye-catching thumbnail.
Like me, that's how I am. I like ships blowing up. So if I'm looking through and I see a ship blowing up, I click on it. If you ain't got a ship blowing up, it's not what I go for, And like, it's not that I don't like anything else. Just if I'm looking through stuff, what can I find? Okay, just flick. Ship blowing up, bang. That's what I go for.
Yeah.
The other ones could be amazing, but if it's just a picture of like a sun and you got a ship blowing up, and I like ships blowing up. If the sun one might be better with better ships blowing up, but it ain't got a ship blowing up. I don't know. It's about a ship blowing up. It looks like a sun to me. I don't fucking know.
Exactly. That's why when I started doing this, I was like, I'm a decent illustrator. I can do a lot of black and white ink work and make it look pretty cool.
You're much better than what I can do.
And I always wanted it to be like, I don't have any budget outside of being able to travel and go to conventions and stuff. And that's where the money's going, just to make sure that I can go out there and see things. So when it comes to the product, if I can do it myself, and the editing is pretty good, like most of the stories are fairly clean. Sometimes you'll run across something or you'll come across a small like formatting error, because sometimes the website can be a little weird, especially on mobile. But on iPads, it's terrible. Phones, it's pretty good. But I'm not super worried about it because it's free, so there's not too much to complain about because it's really clean. We've done a good job. And when it comes to the art, as long as it's eye-catching and it feels really homemade and it has that, it's almost like a zine quality. That's kind of what we're going for, is that you show up to the local comic shop and somebody's printed out a bunch of Xerox zines and you can pick them up, and that's how people get their start. And that's exactly what I kind of wanted to emulate here, because those covers are so important. If you have a good-looking piece of art on social media, episode 11, for instance, is our second most viewed episode, not even 2 and 3, because we just pushed the art really, and I was so happy with that piece. It took off.
Well, that's it. It's like, as long as it tells what your story is about, like, not sort of tell, but like the type of stuff it is. Like, you've got little animals, like the lower ones down, people will see that, but like, okay, if that's the sort of stuff they're into, they'll know what it is, and the key one is, it's an interesting one, because people see that, they think, what's it about? It's got all them keys, But you could be, I like him. It's good. Like I said, your drawing's much better than me. My artist friend, like, I do doodles for him, and he's like, I'll do it, Joe. Oh, I'm just
That's
showing you what I'm trying to do. I am sorry.
Yeah.
He said, do you want me to do it? I'm like, well, I do, but I tried. Apologise. Right, so you've taken a week off to your next one. And the next one's going to be, you said it's the racing in cyberpunky sort of thing.
Yep.
What is the next one after that, if you know?
So November, we're going to start doing a lot more mini arcs because that's where a lot of our views have been getting.
Yep.
And that's where it seems like a lot of people are just much more interested in that. It also allows me to flesh out, I could do one-offs here and there and it's a lot of fun. But when you do 20 in a row, it's unreadable. There's no investment. So to me, it's much cooler to go for November and have 3 weeks where we're just kind of going through this racing storyline. Just quick little trilogy, 2,000, 3,000 words a piece. And then after that, in December, we're doing, have you ever heard of the Emu War in Australia?
Maybe.
It's very interesting. It's a real thing where these farmers realized that emu were destroying their crops, so they had to get the military involved, and then the military couldn't fight them off.
Yeah.
They couldn't fight off the birds.
I remember that. I do remember reading something about that while watching a YouTube video, probably.
It's really fascinating. So what I wanted to do was for Christmas and for the holiday season here in America, have like an Emu War / World War I trench Christmas story. Where it's just crazy bonkers.
He's only got these like trenchmen, and they got their single bolt shot weapons, and they're looking over, and like it's like these little like. Do they make noise? The little emu? They're the little birds. They're the fat little birds with like the beaks, aren't they?
Oh no, it's a kiwi. The emu are like a mini ostrich.
That's it. Yeah. Because that's it. Because emus, they're the same as as an R version of them as well. Because one of them's got not poisonous peck, but it's got like bacteria in its mouth. It pecks you. I don't know if it's the emu. I think it's the other one. So I think in England you can. I might be making this up, and it might be complete bullshit, but I'm sure you can't have the emus. It's the other one, or it might be emus. Because I think you can have emus, not the ostriches over here. You can have one. One of them survives over here, and they'll probably survive. But the people have them here. I know a couple of villages over lost one. Is running around. It's quite funny. Yeah, that's it. So you got like it reminds me of, and I'm diverting again. Kevin Hart when he's talking about him running, and he's in the car, and the ostrich is like.
Yes.
And he just be like a load of like World War II, like they look over and all he sees is like,
it's so funny.
His head pops up. It's like, he's like, he's shooting. He's like velociraptors running over there, and it's mate, carnage. Oh, that sounds funny. Oh, it's quite. I tell you, it's quite fast-paced stories. Then it must be for like
they're super
2,000
quick,
words, 4,000,
and some of them are a little bit more ponderous and philosophical, and we really get into
of course.
what the whole thing is about. But
you got to let people know that, or let them think you know what you're going on about.
But I do try to keep it really fast. I try to make sure that you can read that thing in 15 minutes and enjoy yourself, and it's over. You're just on the toilet, just sort of I'll read this quick story real fast. That's all I need.
So how have you been getting your name out then? Because I mean, this isn't the only thing you're doing is talking to like little folk like me. You must. I've seen you've done like a couple other things on your events and news, but how have you branched out? What have you been doing?
So I've had this. Where most of this stems from, outside of the actual original idea for the story, was that I'm about 23, so I would have graduated university if I went, but I didn't. Yeah. And over the last 5 years, I was trained to be an athlete and also writing. And I thought, okay, it would be really interesting to sort of studying marketing as much as I can, because my mother is really involved in the entertainment industry.
Yep.
And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to take everything that I've learned from her, and then I'm just going to study the hell out of marketing and compile a big ass binder. Sorry to curse. A big binder full of.
I've already sworn a few times already, don't I?
Yeah. Full of as much information as I could muster. And then I put together this plan over the last few years, just an approach to marketing my first novel, right? And it would be a huge tour where I'd buy up with my advance money that I could spare. I would buy up as many free copies as possible and then travel all around and just give them out to people and then do as many interviews and such just to get it out. It's really just exposure.
That's it.
And then I took that and I was like, okay, if I scale that down and then do a free product, a free serial, Gen Con, which is are you aware of what Gen Con is?
No.
It's like if you play D&D or anything like that, it's the biggest tabletop convention in the world, and it's in Indianapolis, which is around 5 hours away from me. And I used to travel to Indiana, which is a U.S. state, to train. And I was like, wow, it's perfect. I'm familiar with the drive. And if I get this out there, because I decided to do this officially in July, if I get this out there by August, Gen Con was moved from early August to September because of COVID. So I went out, and the first big thing we did, because at first I was just sort of to spread the word, I just did it amongst my friends and family for the first few weeks. We came out August 12th, and Gen Con was September 16th. And I thought, okay, we'll build a small base, and then I will cut black paper, and then I'm an artist, so I cut some linoleum blocks and made some print presses. I made a bunch of homemade prints, got a bunch of business cards, built that like life-size mascot of the mouse, put him in a backpack, and then went to Gen Con.
Off you went.
Yeah, and for 4 days, I walked the showroom floor and met a ton of publishers, a ton of really incredible people, and just gave prints to everybody that I met. And basically everything shot from there. It didn't explode, but we met so many people. And our first interview with Dave Friant of Nerdarchy was a few weeks later, because we met him at the show, and he was like, wow, this is a really great concept. It's all based in TTRPGs and D&D. So getting out there was really just, okay, we're going to have this big event. We're going to go to Gen Con, build a huge foundation. And now what I'm doing is going to stores and doing something similar, where I'm making flyers, taking those prints, giving them to bookstore owners, comic shops, game shops, libraries, and reaching out to people like you and trying to see people that align philosophically with like what I'm doing and this whole idea. Really just meeting everybody possible and just shooting stuff out there in the world.
Well, you got to do. There's a something that a lot of or indie authors have said is to get yourself out, you need to haul yourself out. Yeah, you just got to get yourself out there. You just got to do it. No one's going to find you, and there's so many people doing it. And I think Amazon alone, I think they have like 8,000 books a day being published on there.
That makes sense.
That's obviously that's across all genres and stuff, but it's like that's a lot of people every day. A lot of people. You know, and you're just one of them per year, per month, whatever. You know what I mean? I mean, how many 8,000s are in a month? God, I don't want to work that out. A lot. There's a lot. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's one of those things where, you know, I trained to be a pro athlete for a long time. I was a discus thrower, and it's just taking that discipline. It's a really easy switch. And like I said, my mom is in the entertainment industry. She's a choreographer, so she's worked in the studio her entire life. So for me, like, hard work is fun. This is a lot of fun. It's really cool to be able to go out and meet people in person or have interviews and meet people like you, and just share what I'm doing, and then really learning from other people and grasping and having a bouncing board to be able to get ideas from. But going out into the streets and like going to local shops has been so much fun. It's really grueling. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time.
Yeah.
But that's also what separates
people make it or people who don't. You know? You can sit at home all day and be like, oh, why am I book selling?
Yeah.
You're not doing nothing,
a lot of
mate.
people do. A lot of people do that.
I know this one guy. He published a book. It popped up on like Facebook advertisement where it posted on your feed. So I thought, oh well, I'll have a look at it. Bought it. It was only like £10, like $12 US. It was all right, but it a hell of a lot of info dumping.
Yes.
There was just pages and pages of just dumping every single bit of information you can think about.
That's the worst. That's the worst.
And it's like, I think the first, I don't know if it was like 10 or 12 pages was just him explaining the planets, galaxies, or the solar system, species, going on and on. At first, I was like, oh, it's interesting. You know what I mean? Learning a bit. Yeah. Then the next page, I was like, okay, all right. So just flick all the way through.
That's ridiculous.
So it started. And then it's just like, as soon as a character walked in, it was like a chunk of a big, huge paragraph of just every description about this thing. And then about the weapons holding and thing. And it's going on. Then something will happen. And then as soon as a new character walked in, bang, it's on again. And I was like, whoa. So I didn't put a review up on Amazon because I didn't want to, his first book, I wasn't going to be like, give him 1 star to it's terrible. So I actually because I saw him on Facebook, I joined his like fan page thing or whatever. I messaged him directly, tell him what I thought and just how I felt about the book and all the stuff. He accepted it. I wasn't like a dick. I was like legitimately like,
yes, just
it's a
being
lot of
critical.
input. I'm like, you know, like I read a lot of books. You know, like I back before I got real busy, before I stayed at home looking after the kids and that, you know, I'd read 4 books a day, 4 books a month. I mean, or 3 to 4 books a month, and I'd be listening to like 2 audiobooks a week. Like I was churning out books, and like you can tell the good to the bad, and or like the good, you know what I mean,
Yeah,
sort of thing.
you get a really good taste when you do that.
You do, and like I've looked at a lot of trying to write myself. I've looked at a lot of stuff about what to do, what don't to do, and what to try and avoid, and a lot of stuff that they all said avoid. This guy did everything to a T. So anyway, so I just said to him how I felt, what I liked about your book, what I didn't like about your book. Wasn't being like, I didn't say like do this. I just said like this is what I felt. You know, I said I'm not going to post it on Amazon, whatever. And it was fine. Like he was like, well, that's what I like though. I said I can understand that, but I've seen you post that you're upset that you've got bad reviews and no one likes your book. Now I'm saying to you what I didn't like about the book in detail because you've been asking for people. You know, people aren't giving you reviews. Yes. So I'm giving you a review without posting it to be a dick. And then he's like posting up like, you know, like, oh, you know, why people like my books and oh, you know, just giving a bit of shit and stuff. It's like, but you're moaning no one's buying your book. You're not doing nothing by just paying to advertise it out. And then I've not about me, but like I've come to you and other people have put reviews and you're moaning about the bad reviews. So you got to learn from this stuff.
Yes, you have to you have to be willing to go back to the drawing board and say, okay, how do I reassess my skill set? Maybe I'm not good enough yet. Because a lot of people also aren't able to kind of look critically and take like someone like you coming in and saying, hey, you know, I've done a lot of writing. I'd like to help you. People take that really personally, or they aren't willing to really look at their work and say, okay, yes, I'm getting bad reviews. Basically exactly what you're saying, right? They're just not willing to change.
Yeah. My first novel, now I've not done no novels, but first manuscript, sorry, not novel. The first one I did, or like a fraction of the way through the story, it sucked. I then redid it again, completely 10 times better than what it was. Still crap. The one that I'm writing now, I feel like it's scraping through be okay. You know, this is so I'm going to pay for an editor to go through it because my tense is terrible. When I always do become and because wrong, I'm terrible. But anyway, so like I know I've got to still learn. I've got stuff to do. Like my YouTube video that I've done, the one on my first channel, which was the Untitled War thing, like it sucked. You know, the only good thing going was my partner's narration voice was good. Like it sucked. I tried. I was talking to my friend about it today, actually. I tried like doing it as like someone back telling you like the history of something that happened, but then I started doing like point of views of characters, and then sort of adding a bit of dialogue in there. But I didn't want dialogue in there, but I couldn't work out how to tell the story the way I was trying to tell the story, and it just became a blend of crap.
Yeah.
So
I know completely.
So like I've literally like the stuff that I've done, the last one I'd just done, which I get the YouTube video thinking story ones, the Operation Sealant. Now, not that I rushed it, but I did it in a short amount of time, so I didn't have enough time to step back to then listen to it. Now, after I proofread it myself, my partner sorted out my tenses, sent it off to the guy, went through the edits. He then went back, he done the narration edits, sent it back, and I went through it, listening to it to edit the video together to make the YouTube video. And then I didn't watch it for a day or whatever. Me and my mate sat down and watched it, and I saw stuff. I was like, why did I not notice that at first? Yeah. I said, like, they just stood there, or something like that, they just stood there. And then the next sentence straight after was, they just stood there, da-da-da-da. It's like, I didn't need to say that twice. I didn't notice this. But, you know, like, I've learned from that. So the next video that I've done, I've gone through it, and I'm like, right, I need to make sure I think it's like rhyming words or something, or what, I can't remember what the saying is, but like, you just have to learn. We're just going to proper rant, and I'm sorry. You got to accept learning. You never stop learning.
So much work. It takes so much work. Yeah. It's one of those things, weirdly enough, like with this project, I wanted to do something like this years ago. I didn't have the idea with the mouse and everything just yet. I was like, I want to do some kind of web serial, something where I don't have to self-publish a book, but I can go out and do something for free and then be able to build an audience and show agencies and editors that I'm willing to do that, because I want to be traditionally published. And I've always had it in the back of my head because I love comics, I love illustrating. But I'm really glad that I didn't, because my God, I wasn't ready yet. I mean, I read some of my stuff from 3-4 years ago, and it's just atrocious. And my stuff now, Many Tales more pulpy compared to my novel stuff. My novel prose is much more refined, just because it takes longer and it's more thoughtful.
There's more going on because it's an entire story. You've got to really, and
there's more room for the prose to be slow and ponderous and really get into the language. Where with stories every week, I'm just sort of like, okay, I'm just going to do my best. It's clean, it's clear cut. It's almost like journalism, where I'm just trying to write really quick, concise stuff. And sometimes like I said earlier, I meddle a little bit, but it's really helping me put into perspective the last few years of work, kind of working on this project and going, wow, a few years ago, I wouldn't have been able to do that. I wouldn't be able to handle being comfortable enough to edit my own work and then put it out into the world. I would be terrified to do that. And we've got some really good reviews. People have been contacting me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm actually doing better. It's really cool because I'm still able to learn and still able to grow with each successive story. But it's also actually nice to be able to look back at that pile of, like, I had a bunch of work right behind me. It's nice to be able to look at that pile and go, oh, I'm not making these mistakes as frequently, or that mistake's gone. I don't make this at all anymore. It's cool. It's really writing such a great thing because it's so tangible. Your progress is so obvious.
You're saying about like people like getting in contact with you and stuff. That really does mean a lot. Like when someone drops a comment, like even for me, like someone just put a comment. There's nothing. It's just like, oh, it's always fun boarding in space or something, and it's like just the fact that someone actually took their time to put a comment. It's like this guy liked it. He must like it. He put the effort to say he like it. You know what I mean? Like he didn't say like, but like it's always whatever he said, boarding in space or whatever. It's like I'm like, oh, thanks man for I'm so happy. It's like someone it touched someone. They felt like a lot of work goes into like doing some of this stuff. Like
absolutely.
I'm still churning out my book. I want to get this draft done, the first draft done by Christmas. I could do it. I need to knuckle down a bit harder, but I got to finish something I'm working on. Kind of what I was talking earlier about. You learn from your mistakes.
Yeah.
The first Yertle story, it was crap in the end. It was just crap. So I'm re-going over it, but I'm actually turning it into like an actual story thing. It's gonna be like a 4,000 word story, and I'm gonna put each one of them up. So the whole Yertle thing is going to be a massive. Maybe one a month I'll do, because a lot of time and all that stuff to go into it. Have a full cast of characters. I'm just completely turning the thing that I've done before into something a lot better. Hopefully,
that's great. Yeah,
And all of this is all to do with my book as well. So like when my book comes out, my book takes place after all of this stuff that happens. But this is all like an entire pre-history.
Right,
it's just like if anyone like reads the book and they're like, oh, I wonder if there's anything else about him, or he's got a little tag on the back saying like YouTube, whatever. You go on, it's like, oh, wow, there's all this history. Like, cool, like that's what I want.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing too. That's why, like on the Many Tales site, you could see there are actually queries for some of my books there, just so that if agents and editors happen to look at things, they can actually go and read through stuff, because all of it takes place in the same sort of fantasy stuff that I've been writing for the same. They all connect loosely. They all take place in this.
No, he's gone. No, I'm gonna cut this out and edit it. He's back.
I don't know what happened.
Mate, this is gonna be cracker for the edits. Like literally, you just went and went, no, he's gone.
I was all of a sudden my screen went completely black.
I wonder maybe your phone shut.
Maybe
like
oh yeah, I think it just hit 50%.
Yeah, it's gone back like low power. So
yeah.
So I was going to ask you novels, because you said you don't know. Have you got novels out then as well?
So none of them.
Or you're working on one?
Yeah, because part of the reason with A Many Tale was part of the reason really going forward this July was because I decided to stop pursuing athletics. I had a hernia when I was 19 and got herniated discs when I was 19, which you should not have at 19. I just decided, now that I'm I was 22 at the time. I was like, it's I don't
Getting
want to do
older.
this anymore. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
love it, and it'd be great to go and be a professional athlete, but I really want to be an artist, and I need to just go full on into this. And because pursuing agencies takes so long, the process is so long, I knew I needed to do something, so I went to Manytail. And novel-wise, I'm working on a bunch of different things. I worked on, I think I finished my first one when I was like 16 or 17, and that was just a hunk of stinking, just mud.
Fun times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun time. Those are the learning experiences.
Yeah.
But now my work is starting to get really good, and I'm really happy with it. So pursuing representation at the moment.
Are you going to go down, if it doesn't work, are you going to try and indie it?
I might go after smaller presses. I don't know that I'll self-publish.
Well, you can, see the thing is, you can find that there's obviously small, basically you're still an independent author, but you're doing it through their label to hit their fans that they've already got, and I think on average ish they take like 30% of the profit. But I mean, just getting it out to a couple thousand fans who are there because they follow that label, that could help. Oh, he's frozen. Oh, he's moving again.
Yeah,
you froze then. I was like, oh, you've lost him again. Some of that, or I bored you. Sorry.
Right,
did you hear what I said?
I heard the first part.
All right, yeah. So there was sorry. That's all right. Like some of the independent publishers, the small ones, like they take like a 30% of the profit, but they obviously you get their fans and obviously who signed up to them, because people like the style of books and their labels. Yeah. So by doing that, you might reach a couple thousand people.
Yeah, I've thought about that as well. I've thought about a lot of the different avenues, and I think it's just that I've always wanted to be traditionally published. Like I've always wanted to go through one of the major houses at some point, and go with an agent and everything. And I think that's probably it's definitely where I want my career to go, in terms of just the marketing resources they have and the power that they have.
Oh, of course,
it's just enormous.
Hard to get there.
Really hard.
Yeah. It is. It's there's a lot of people who've got the same dream.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You have to fight and kill your way up there, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But it is though, isn't it? It's well, you never know if you make it. Cracking.
Hey.
That'd be lovely though, wouldn't it? It's you never know though. That's the thing. You've got something unique enough that they can market it.
Exactly, because it's also one of those things where, as you said, like 8,000 books a month on Amazon, and I could really work to get up to the top of that. But I'd much rather have a large team behind me. I'd much rather build a really solid multimedia foundation where you have an agent, you have your editors, you have all of those resources. And I really enjoy the thought of writing books for that market.
Well,
and it's a lot of work. It's really difficult to break into that, but just going to keep going until it happens.
Well, the thing is, you've got your head screwed on. You've got a plan. You've got people around you. Have you ever thought about doing it yourself? Like going down the indie route and making a label of yourself, and then people come and write in your universe?
I've thought about it a little bit. I have.
Yeah, it's hard work, but so there's one fly keeps flying around. Fucking driving now. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it a little bit, but I don't know that I'm there yet. I'm not at that point yet, for sure.
Well, you never know.
Yeah.
So what else have you got on the cards? You've got the next. We spoke about the next ones coming out. Is there anything else? Anything different you're doing? Anything not part of this universe?
I'm doing some short fiction. So writing just a bunch of short fiction here and there. Hopefully we're going to end up publishing with some magazines in the next few months, nice. Whether it's pre-holiday, post-holiday, going after that sort of thing. So hopefully my work will start popping up in those kind of publications. But the main focus right now is essentially getting these books done. Like I'm trying to get this next novel done prior to Christmas, at least the first few drafts done prior to Christmas. getting another novel done in the early spring, and then having multiple books because I'm querying a YA novel at the moment. Really, the goal is just project-wise, get some short fiction done, publish a many tale every week, go to big conventions and events and push that, and then at the same time go after the novel market. Sort of like big triangle. We're making a triangle, yeah. Novels, short fiction, a many tale, and then each one will hopefully bounce off each other to start building a solid foundation career-wise.
You got a plan. That's it. It's good. Just keep at it. That's, you know, it's good to have a plan.
Definitely, it is, and it's like people sometimes say that you shouldn't have a plan because you got to be flexible, but
yeah, let's just wing it. Hope for the best. Yeah,
no,
you know what I mean.
Plan is good, and you got to understand that things are gonna get thrown in it, but that's the fun of it.
It's a business.
Those. Exactly,
it's a business. You're not gonna survive. Like if you've got no plan, they've got a plan. Their plan's gonna win.
Yes, 100%. It's gonna crush you.
You know what I mean?
You got to be relentless. You got to just, all right, I'm going to do this and this and this, and you just got to keep doing it and keep fighting, and that's the fun part.
That's it. That's it. You know, and the thing is, if you do get there, even whether you make like big success or you just break in or whatever, like, the weight off your shoulders.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be good times.
It's gonna be a good day.
Message me on Discord, be like, I made it. I'm like,
I will.
That'd be great. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
Honestly, just anybody watching, go check out the serial. It's completely free. You got 10 minutes. You're sitting on the toilet. You're taking a walk. You're eating some food. Just fire up your laptop. Go on your phone. Go to amanytale.com, and all of it's right there. Check out the first 3. They're real quick. It's a lot of fun, and I think you'll find it to be pretty meaningful.
Well, I'll put your links in the description. If you have Facebook or any other things, I'll do that. If you haven't, then
we do have an Instagram.
Oh, you're an Instagram man. There we go. Yeah. All right. Well, I'll whack your Instagram in there as well. So I was going to say, actually, just because it's about the short story thing, there's a big market for short stories because there are a lot of people who can't commit to a big novel because they don't have enough time. You know, if they'd like got a lunch break and they've got like, you know, half an hour or whatever, and they've got
then you can just grab
the food, do it. That's it. You know, you just read, you know, while they're drinking the coffee, eating a bit of food, they're going to quick read. You know, like you said, some people only like reading on the toilet. And you're not going to be able to read a big old book. It's going to take you a long time if you've only got 10 minutes a day. Well, 2 toilets, 20 minutes if you're lucky. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Right. Sorry for adding that. Thank you very much for coming on.
I appreciate it.
It's been a very good talk. We've done well as well. 52 minutes. And we've got some funny bits as well where you just disappeared and I get edit that
went black for a second.
That's it. You just disappeared. I was like, oh, it's gone. No, I've lost my guest. That happens more than you know, actually. Or my kids pop in and like,
oh yeah,
one time, like I just saw like when I was in like a different room, like this door just opened. I was like, the fuck is that? My kids go, Dad! I'm like, hold on. Back in a minute. Awesome. Yeah, to go around and do it. That's why I don't do these live. Right. Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming on, and come back again as well when you want to.
Appreciate it.
Thank you everyone who's made it this far as well. Bye bye.